I'm Sue Rahr. I'm the retired sheriff from King County, Washington. I began my career with the sheriff's office in 1979 as a patrol deputy. Over the next 3 decades, I worked my way up through the ranks, was in a variety of assignments, and I completed my tenure with 2 terms as the elected sheriff. Shortly after retiring, I took the position as the executive director of the Washington State Criminal Justice Training Commission, which functions as the police academy for over 300 agencies in the state of Washington. I also had the privilege of serving on the executive session on policing at the Harvard Kennedy School, and I was a member of the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing. I'm currently working on a variety of projects across the nation to improve public trust in policing. Today, I want to share with you a couple of personal experiences and tell you how my views about gun laws and gun safety have evolved. The first experience I want to share with you involves the suicide of a 13-year-old boy that happened 25 years ago. I arrived at the scene after his young sister found him dead in the family room when she came home from school. I walked into the house and saw his lifeless body laying in front of an old toy chest, which was next to an open gun cabinet. On top of the toy chest was a Lego set. That scene is permanently seared into my brain because of the cognitive dissonance of a gun cabinet next to a toy chest, and because my own son at the time was the same age, and he had that same Lego set. The investigation revealed that the boy was despondent over the rejection of a girl he loved with all of his 13-year-old heart. As the mother of a teenager, I was familiar with the strength of adolescent emotions, and I couldn't help thinking, if only there wasn't a gun there, he might have done something less permanent to deal with his despair. But I also thought, there's no law that would have guaranteed this boy couldn't find the key to his dad's gun cabinet. More recently, during my tenure at the police academy, I had the privilege of conducting monthly graduation ceremonies for new police officers. But the joy and pride I felt at those ceremonies had a bit of an edge to it. As I looked across the hundreds of proud and excited faces of family and friends who attended the ceremonies, I felt compelled to reassure them that each recruit, who were either their sons or daughters, husbands, wives, moms, and dads, had been sufficiently trained to do their jobs well and come home alive at the end of their shift. But deep in my mind, I knew that I shouldn't make such an ironclad promise, not because the training was flawed, but because I knew the growing prevalence of guns in every corners of the communities they would serve. We did everything we could to train officers to find the right balance between upholding constitutional rights and also being safe. But as the number of guns and the deadliness of guns in our communities keep growing, that balance is becoming nearly impossible for officers to navigate. Up until recently, I've not been a proponent of enhanced gun safety laws because, in my experience, no law guarantees to keep guns out of the hands of those who are compelled to use them. But more recently, especially after the most recent slaughter of school children, I've been rethinking my logic. No law guarantees 100% compliance. For example, everyone I know, myself included, speeds a little, violating traffic laws. But those same people don't completely disregard the intent of the law. Even if the law can't guarantee complete compliance, it still influences behavior in a positive way. I know that one of the main goals of crime prevention is to create barriers to discourage people from committing crimes. Those barriers won't stop everyone, but they'll make it harder to commit crimes. And sometimes that's enough to discourage dangerous or criminal behavior. When it comes to firearms, stopping even a small number of tragedies is a worthwhile goal. If guns are less prevalent and there are reasonable barriers to people grabbing a gun while in an angry or emotional state, we just might save the life of a distraught teenager or one of the brave men and women who put their lives on the line for us every day. You know, I think back on my experience as the gang unit commander, and I remember something that really stood out to me when I would go to the scene of a gang shooting. And I remember one incident in particular where the young man who had been shot was screaming and crying like, it hurts so much. And I thought, why is that such a surprise to you? And he just said, I didn't think it was going to hurt this bad. And as I was talking to the other gang detectives, I told them, why is this kid so surprised that having a bullet hole in his leg hurts? And he said, Sue, these kids sit in front of a video screen and they watch people get shot and blood squirt out, but they don't feel the pain. It's a game. And it dawned on me that these kids have completely disassociated the real life consequences of this violent game they're looking at. So, I know there's probably research all over the place, but in my experience, kids are not connecting the real consequences of these kinds of games they're playing. It was really just really sad.